Well, thank you very much, Thabo. You have given a broad scope of understanding this interface between man and machine and how software is fundamental across the board. So, what does that actually mean there? There are two things there. There is functional literacy on the one hand, and there is literacy in terms of understanding how these things work and, and what is the need for technical support, what is the need for programmers, and so on. So is this something that is very aloof, that only people who at a certain level of education can access? What is the possibility for a matriculant, you know, who is now finished high school and one's looking at a career in IT? What is the opportunity for such a person to enter into this level of, let us call it, digital literacy?
Um, Joel, I think the key issue is that you need an entry point, regardless of where you are. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, but I think in this world, everyone does have a level at which they are comfortable with starting as a programmer or as a software specialist. Of course, there has to be a good grounding. So essentially, as a start, literacy is key. And then literacy in this case, I'm using it loosely as just a basic understanding of numeracy as an example, like basic maths and then basic ability to read. And there is also a requirement that you need to be able to think generally outside the box. You should have a curious mind. You should be willing to learn. And as you go through a software development environment, you need to be able to be willing to learn new things all the time. There is always twists and turns. But put it the other way around, somebody who is a cashier in a shop, you just need basic ability to switch on a computer, be able to do basic activities. Like, for example, if you are doing a sale, you need to be able to operate a scanner so that you can get the barcode across. And nowadays, we also have QR codes, and you need to be able to apportion the input information into whether it's a sale or whether it is a credit to the customer. So those basic fundamental issues are important. And for somebody who's a cashier, you don't need advanced levels of learning. So your basic understanding of computing is always a good start. You always need a foundation. Then once you've got a foundation, you can, just like you're building a house, you can start with bricks, put in some windows, and then eventually you paint the house, and then you provide paint into the house, and then there has to be a roof. So there are multiple levels, even in the software space. And then those that have got, I suppose, advanced aptitude, advanced knowledge, you can always build on and improve yourself and become better as you go along. So the fundamental issue is that there are various stages. You got to start somewhere, and then you go into an intermediate level, and then subsequently you become an expert or a specialist. And then beyond that standpoint, then you can design and deliver very specialized and highly complicated projects, like some of those I mentioned earlier on, like operating or programming a drone or programming an automation machine in an industrial application. So in a sense, there is various stages, but you got to start somewhere and build through a period of time. Your expertise becomes more and more, and you become more confident to handle more complex projects. The other important issue is that your knowledge of software application, it does not limit you to operate within a confined area. Like if you are within South Africa, you can still deliver international projects even from South Africa. The beauty of technology improving is that it allows you to operate at an international level while you are based locally. Thanks.
That I think that's very interesting, and certainly the internet has enabled us to be able to do such things. So here within South Africa, therefore, are you then saying that we are a part of the world in the bigger scheme of things, that here in South Africa there is the scope to engage at an advanced level also in the digital space?
Absolutely.
Mhm. Okay. And then the prospects within corporates, within industry across the board provides still scope for young people now looking at furthering their career, getting an education. It provides sufficient scope for significant young people to actually get into the digital environment, even at a level 4, level 5 systems development.
Correct. I mean, that is a fundamental foundation that you need. Then you can branch over to other spheres later on. You need to have a good grounding, and I think that's where companies like i-Fundi come into play, because they give you the basic skills, the entry level into the environment, and then later on one can take the additional steps of taking over more complex projects. And obviously lessons come into play as well, because the more complex the projects, you also need to continually be studying and learning new tricks of trade. Thanks.
Yes, I really enjoyed your presentation and your conversation with us. Thank you for your inputs. And I think people who are listening to this, it will help them to get very good insights, understand the industry and the opportunity that is available for them. And that one realizes that you don't have to be coming in with high level computer expertise to do programming. You started with the basic qualification, you have a good metric, you know how to use a computer, then you can start. You really want to learn. So we really would like to invite everyone and anyone, particularly young people and those who are just new or maybe already working in the industry. You want to make this a career, you want to learn programming, not just coding, but programming. This is an opportunity for you to take hold of and build your foundation and take that opportunity step by step.